Hey, this is Tim Nybo, co-founder of Vincero. Small batch, premium lifestyle accessories are what we're all about. From automatic timepieces to handcrafted polarized sunglasses, our dedication to craftsmanship runs through everything we do. See, we believe the accessories you choose to carry on a daily basis matter. That's why we design everything in-house, source all of our own materials, and produce in small batches. It's the only way to guarantee everything we make, and the reason we have over 40,000 five-star reviews. Check out why GQ called us their go-to brand, and join our community of over 500,000 happy customers. Shop our watches, eyewear, and accessories at vincerocollective.com/radio. And when you do, take 20% off with code RADIO. That's VINCERO collective.com/radio. And don't forget to apply that code RADIO at checkout for 20% off your entire purchase.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where the sky's the limit thanks to better internet. With lightning-fast speeds up to 1 gig, you can game like a boss, stream like a pro, and watch like there's no tomorrow. Stream, watch, post, send, and trend. Do it all with our fiber-powered network, bringing you reliable, fast internet. Welcome to BreezeLine. Visit breezeline.com for latest offers. Service subject to availability. New customers in select areas only. Visit breezeline.com for details.
Hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of Film Study. This is Ken McKusick. We're here to continue our series of That One Play. Got a good one for you today. We look back to 2000, and we're going to talk about a play from that New York Jets game in Week 17. And here to talk about it with me is Jason Smith, Huddle It Up Films. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing real well, Ken. This is a fun series, so I'm glad to participate. So glad you asked me. Have a kind of a funny story, and it was an interesting day.
All right, that's great. Set it up for us. I obviously know a fair amount of the history around this. I'll jump in as I need to.
Sure. So, this is the year 2000, our Super Bowl run. We had won a bunch of games in a row. The last game of the season's coming up. I had a chance to go to the game, and I'm in my early 20s at this point, and I hadn't been to the stadium all that much. Of course, the team came in 96, so this is the year 2000. So I got a chance to go with my stepfather, and I'm like, man, this team is great. This might be our year. Finally, things are coming together. Can't believe it. The first great team I've seen in Baltimore. Let me go ahead, be a part of this history, go to the last regular game of the season at home against the Jets, who were a good team, but not a great team. Our former quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, coming to town. So the week before, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, we had clinched a playoff spot. We could finally say playoffs. We had finally made it to the playoffs. So heading to this game, really excited, getting to see this team, the greatest defense of all time, and on their way to the playoffs. And it was more of a celebratory day. Like, we made it. We still have a slim chance to win the division, but we're in the playoffs nonetheless. Let's go see Ray Lewis and this great defense play. So that was the mood of the day.
Yeah, I completely agree in terms of the mood. And it was kind of a happy-go-lucky, maybe something good will happen. But the Tennessee Titans had to lose to the Dallas Cowboys, who were truly hapless. The Ravens already beaten them 27-0, and Tennessee didn't play until Monday night, which was, they don't do that anymore, but they did back then. And so Tennessee, if they had lost that Monday night game, would then have had to play in the wild card round on some short rest, which something that the NFL has actually cleaned up about their schedule making in the years since.
Made it more fair. Yes, all the games are to be determined on Sunday now, and they'll have that one Sunday night game nowadays. But yes, and the Titans, of course, were so good. Ravens were so good that we weren't really for me at least, we weren't expecting to win. And oh man, if we win, we could win the division. Of course, there was only 3 divisions back then, Ken. I think the AFC, the Central, it was called, right? The old AFC Central had 6 teams in it. So for me, the mood and for the crew was, let's get a chance to see this team before it goes into the playoffs. It wasn't really a tense game. It was more of a fun time. And the game was anything else but fun, Ken. It was just an excruciating beginning to the game. Now you got to remember here, well, I know you do, but we had given up, 145 points in 15 games.
148. Yep. Oh, wait, 34-20. You're right. 145.
So we've given up less than 10 points per game, all season long coming up to this game. Less than 10 points. Best defense ever. Looking at the 85 Bears, I'm like, man, this defense. And some point during that season, I felt, Ken, that this team just looks unstoppable. Nobody could do anything against us. So, we were having our fun. Vinny Interceptaverti's coming to town, and we're going to get him. And the Jets won the toss, and they took the ball, which you don't see today a lot. And they went right down the field on us. I believe it was a touchback, or it was like a 70-some yard drive. Scored a touchdown. Dilfer threw an interception, and the Jets come right down again, score another touchdown. And we were down 14-0 in the first quarter, first three drives. So, the stadium was in shock. I don't know if you were there at that day. I imagine you were. The stadium was in shock, and I'm like, did I bring bad luck on this team, Cam? What the heck am I watching? This isn't right.
Absolutely. So a whole bunch of things going wrong early in this game. Incredible number of possessions in this game, and most of it driven by the fact that the Ravens just couldn't hold on to the football. But the New York Jets possessed the football 20 times in this game. The Ravens, and this is actually a good thing when you think about it, possessed it 16 times. It's always good because, you got a couple interception returns, touchdown returns, whatever. We're going to talk about one of those, fumble returns, whatever it might have been. But anyway, the Ravens possessed it only 16 times in relative sense. But the New York Jets, no one had really tried to beat the Ravens with the spread offense all year, or no one had been really able to. So they came out firing away. Crabette was their slot receiver. They had I think I said Dedrick Ward, I think, was on that team, right?
Dedrick Ward and Richie Anderson. And you're right. Testaverde threw 40 sometimes. Like, they didn't even try to run the ball. 69. Vinny Testaverde, 36 completions. 36 completions, 69 attempts, 481 yards. Vinny Testaverde threw for us this day. So it was not fun, Ken. It was not fun. Go ahead. Sorry.
There's so much to this. I mean, so much to unpack. But I want to hit on on Testaverde attempts thing. Testaverde had a sack on the last series he took. If they hadn't taken a sack and he got that pass off, would have been the most attempts ever in an NFL game at the time. I don't know if it's been top since. It may well have been, but it was a ridiculous number of attempts. He threw a huge number of interceptions in the game. I want to say 4 or something.
Three. I'm looking at.
There you go.
He was only sacked once, it says. So I'm having a fun time looking through the box score here.
So that sack was at the end of the game. It was on that last drive. So, yep, on 2nd and 3, he was sacked for 8 yards by Rob Burnett. So anyway,
I was going to say, Ken, and imagine this: they only ran the ball 19 times. That's low for today's game. You're talking about the year 2000. So they basically, like I guess you're about to say, we're the first team to say, you know what, we can't run on this team. The heck with it. We're just going to throw it every time.
Mm-hmm. They also, Curtis Martin, who was the running back for the Jets at the time, actually ran on the last play of the game. So they were down 2 touchdowns. They said, okay, we just want to end this with 20 seconds left. And then another chance for Testaverde to get the total attempts record for one game went by the board. It's not that that's that important. The key thing about this is the Ravens, their possessions, in 16 possessions, they only had one. Let's make it easiest. They had 2 drives that went over 4 plays. One went 5 and one went 6. And just, an absurd lack of offensive output for the Ravens. And I'm sure you'll tell us where their points came from.
So, Ken, he just set it up great. Sorry, it made me laugh, but that's how bad it was on offense. It was 3 and outs. And we still ended up with 34 points on this day. So the play that made you laugh when I told you about what play that I remember from back in the day was, okay, so, just to paint the picture, Jets are up 14-0 after they had the ball twice, and we had thrown an interception. Like I said, Ravens start coming back. Qadri Ismail catches a touchdown pass. Matt Stover kicks a field goal. We get a safety in the second quarter. So we start climbing back, and then the Jets started driving the ball again, Ken. And this is right before halftime. So the play that I'm highlighting, I look up, I'm like frustrated. I'm like, man, I bet you it's going to be, the bathrooms are going to be crowded as come halftime. I'm like, I don't feel like watching this. This doesn't look right. Let me clear my head. we're probably going to stop them, Ken. They'll probably kick a field goal on us, but they already got down there again, driving on us. Let me go use the bathroom real quick before anybody gets there. I get back to my seat. So walk to the bathroom, short walk, had pretty good seats. And I'm getting to the bathroom, and I'm literally standing there at the urinal doing the deed, and the entire stadium erupts to the point where it like shook me. I'm lucky I didn't go all over myself right there. So like, what happened? What the heck happened? And, it turns out it was a 98-yard interception return. So you can imagine.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where the sky's the limit thanks to better internet. With lightning-fast speeds up to 1 gig, you can game like a boss, stream like a pro, and watch like there's no tomorrow. Stream, watch, post, send, and trend. Do it all with our fiber-powered network, bringing you reliable, fast internet. Welcome to BreezeLine. Visit breezeline.com for latest offers. Service subject to availability. New customers in select areas only. Visit breezeline.com for details.
And it was a roar, and then a build up, and then another roar. So it sounded like, all this is going on while I'm just trying to finish in there. And then I came out and saw the 2-point conversion. Jamal Lewis had run in for a 2-point conversion. So I watched that from like the TV and the grandstand, because the first thing I had to do was look what the heck happened. And then kind of get back to my seat, and just like you would probably do to your friend if he got up and some greatness happened and left, you tell him, hey, man, why don't you go back to the bathroom again so some more good stuff can happen.
There you go.
So I got a hard time from the fans around me and the stepdad and all that. So that was the play. I was in the bathroom probably for one of the most dramatic plays of an otherwise dreary day. But there was some fun plays at the end of the game. But
there was more drama
Ken,
to come.
Have you ever missed a play like that where you were just so frustrated and, needed to take a walk, or maybe you had a story like mine and you ended up missing something good?
I'm trying to think. I can tell you there's been twice where I've left the stadium and run back in because something happened to reverse the fortunes. And one was in 96 or 97 against Jacksonville when they had a late fumble. I think it was in 96 that put him back in the game. Then Testaverde 4-and-out anyway. So that was that. And then the other one was the field goal that wasn't against the Browns, where they thought they had the game won, and then they called it a field goal because it hit the supporting post in the back, and I was already outside the stadium. And the first time, the guy, this is in 96, 97, whichever it was, Usher tells me you can't get back in with it in a ticket. I'm like, that's crazy. I just came from here, and then I remembered I had an extra ticket that I hadn't used, and I used that. So.
That's funny.
It was one of those things that, screw you, Mr. Usher. Pull that on me.
So the Browns game, though, the players had taken their tape off and, their shoulder pads off, and Ken had left the stadium. That was a brutal day to watch at home.
Yeah,
yes.
I did get back in for overtime for that game as well. But this game, this had a lot going on for the Ravens on this particular play. A little pass out, not quite to the flat, tight number 2 to the outside. We'll call it to Dedrick Ward. McAlister was laying in wait, and I think Testaverde had probably done some staring on the play. Although I didn't go back and watch it to make sure of that. But I still have the visual memory of McAlister just stepping right in front of that pass as if he knew it was coming all along. And there was no catching him. And great run down the right sideline. And really just one of the really fond memories from that game. And I remember sitting next to someone who was really down on the Ravens for it. He goes, where did the Ravens get all their points? Turnovers. It's like that's useless. Good teams will never turn the ball over, as they went on to have a 12-2 turnover margin in the playoffs, of course. But then we had a couple more punt returns from Jermaine Lewis later in the game.
I mean, you say it so casually, Ken, but again, 34 points, not one, but 2 Jermaine Lewis punt return touchdowns. So you mentioned the drives differential, how the Jets had 20 drives, whatever it was. And you also mentioned the 3-and-outs and what was it, 2 drives of more than 4 plays, I think you said. Mm-hmm. So just a pathetic day on offense, but we scored on a safety. We scored on a 98-yard interception return, and we scored on 2 Jermaine Lewis punt returns. The last one, 89 yards, Ken, coming right at me in the stadium. Was a great feeling, as a young guy who hadn't seen much football live at that point, since of course our old team had left town. So it was just a really memorable day. I'll never forget the McAlister interception return, just because of where I was and the bad words I said at the time, and just being all upset with myself that I missed it. And leaving the stadium, Ken, just I know these are short series, but leaving the stadium, I didn't feel much better about the team than I did going in, because it was more of the, geez whiz, man, we can't score. Dilfer looks terrible. This offense doesn't look good. The Jets just decided to spread us out and throw the ball all over the place. Is this the end? Is this?
I got one more comment to make related to this. Is that the Ravens are often bantied about. The defense is poo-pooed for the fact that they played a kind of a weak regular season schedule. You can only play the teams that they schedule against you, which is a function obviously now of what happens the year before. But in this case, the Ravens played their best defensive ball of the year in the playoffs by far. As great as they were during the regular season, setting the record for points, they were a hell of a lot better in the playoffs. And they faced some offenses which tried to do some of the things that the Jets had done to some yardage effect. And a lot of the announcers and national pundits really didn't believe in the Ravens after that game, after the 500 yards allowed, after the Ravens offensively had done so little against the Jets team. The Jets needed to win that game, by the way. They needed to win and be in themselves. So they had a tough road to hoe coming to Baltimore.
Yes, of course I was with the Ravens and chip on the shoulder and everything, but my honest feelings leaving that day, Ken, were, man, Tennessee had its own style, smash mouth style like we did, but the Raiders, they were the number one seed. If I say anything incorrect here, Ken, correct me. The Raiders were the number two.
Yes, Tennessee was the one.
Okay. Rich Gannon was the MVP, though, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So, going to the Raiders, for instance, I'm thinking, man, Rich Gannon, the regular season MVP, maybe they could spread it out on us and have some success on us. It felt like it was too good to be true, Ken, this team, because we had seen the team struggle. We finally got the 500, and this team was the first really good team that we had seen. So, I mean, I didn't have anything other Ravens teams really to compare it to. I didn't have anything else to compare it to since then, really. I mean, the defense was that good. The offense was that bad, but the defense was just so dominant, and it ended up carrying us, obviously, watching the Bullies of Baltimore 30 for 30. But all the starters were there, Ken, that day. There wasn't any resting of anybody. So I got to see all 11 of the names, really 12 when you count the nickel player. Who was that?
Bailey.
Robert Bailey. So I got to see the whole crew in effect as they operated through the season. So it was quite a joy.
Yeah. All right, outstanding. So glad to have you on, Jason, to talk about this. Tell folks where they can talk football with you online.
Sure. You can talk to me on Twitter at Huddle It Up Films. You can also check out my YouTube, Huddle It Up Films, on there. Ken, in the middle of released 27 videos in the last 27 days. Still have 14 or 15 more to go, doing one a day. Player cut-ups, basically highlights of their season, no filler. It's just basically play after play after play, no crowd shots, no celebration shots. So you can see how these players accumulated their stats and what they look like when they're going well. So check me out over there, subscribe, watch a few videos. You'll find something you like.
Got good voiceover from you for all those cut-ups?
No, I could use, you're the one with the pipes, Ken. I could use, by the way, did you hear the guy doing the Super Bowl last night? The introductions.
No, I don't think I did.
How you doing now for Super Bowl 58? Blah, blah, blah. You didn't hear that? Okay. Right. Yeah. You go back and watch the intros. That guy has some. That's the guy I need.
All right. Outstanding. Other folks out there, if you'd like to do one of these, we're being as inclusive as possible, as many people as we can to get the microphone. I want to have that happen. Just DM me on Twitter. They're always open. Give me any play you want. If you need help finding one, I'll do that. I've been putting out several suggestions every day. People seem to be picking up on them. So look for those, and I'd love to hear from you. Jason, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Ken.
And we'll talk to you next time on Film Study.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where the sky's the limit thanks to better internet. With lightning-fast speeds up to 1 gig, you can game like a boss, stream like a pro, and watch like there's no tomorrow. Stream, watch, post, send, and trend. Do it all with our fiber-powered network, bringing you reliable, fast internet. Welcome to BreezeLine. Visit breezeline.com for latest offers. Service subject to availability. New customers in select areas only. Visit breezeline.com for details.